Hey Pash Fam, it's Paula.
And I'm DJ.
And today we're going to be talking to you about how we use the Passion Planner Daily and our Passion Planners.
So I've actually transitioned completely to the Passion Planner Daily as my regular Passion Planner has run out of pages. So it came out at perfect time, started right at the beginning of October, and I'm in love with it.
I use both the Passion Planner and the Passion Planner Daily. My Passion Planner is the medium size Elite Black, and the Passion Planner Daily is an Elite Black, and it's a small size. I typically use the Passion Planner Daily for some side projects or just random ideas that I have, and my Passion Planner is for my schedules and everything that's I'm prioritizing in my life right now. I love using both the Passion Planner Daily and the Passion Planner. I think the weekly overview and the monthly overview that you get in the original is something that I'm always gonna love. And I am a dated person, so the Passion Planner Daily is undated. So there's a lot more freedom with that, but I enjoy the structure and accountability of a dated Passion Planner. The Passion Planner Daily, what I love about it is the freedom, because there are a lot of things that I've been thinking about, but I'm not committed enough to put it in my regular Passion Planner. So I feel like my Passion Planner Daily are things that I'm entertaining or just random ideas that I get. And it also holds me accountable to, okay, now that it's written down, then maybe it will make it to my Passion Planner and it'll become an actual plan and not just a place for my brainstorming.
So one specific thing that I really like about the Passion Planner Daily layout is the grid side of the layout. Today I learned, and there's a space where I can write whatever I learned. And I've gotten into the habit of writing the things that I learned, but also taking this out of the Passion Planner Daily and asking my peers, my family, something that they learned today. Like being able to translate the things that I realized that I'm writing about in here to my daily life outside of the planner.
Oh, I love that. So you actually have conversations with people about what's in there?
Yeah. Yep. And I want to make an effort to ask them, like, hey, what did you learn today?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's so sweet.
So the way I use my Passion Planner Daily, I mainly use it for journaling, as I used to do in my original Passion Planner. I do that through the time schedule throughout the day, and then the space of infinite possibility I use for note-taking and all the random things throughout my day. I track down daily intentions, notes from my meetings, honorable mentions throughout the day, and I use my free space to grow as a creative outlet where I love to draw, and basically using the same checklist as in the original Passion Planner, but in a more intentional way. Ever since I switched, I actually found that I was spending more time writing in my Passion Planner every single night, and I felt so good about it. And it really allowed me to highlight the honorable mentions throughout my day, keep track of my thought processes throughout the day, and also provide a lot more space for reflection, where it includes self-maintenance, the best thing that happened, today I learned, and today in one word, and my mood, which is something that I didn't really keep track of in my original Passion Planner.
So since my process isn't necessarily a daily process like DJ's, whatever doesn't fit into my regular schedule or Passion Planner goes in the Passion Planner Daily. And it makes it really easy to brainstorm because it's so structured on the left side, but you still have the space of infinite possibility on the right to have some freedom with, brainstorming and whatnot, but you can be more specific with the structure on the left. The way that I plan in my Passion Planner Daily differs with each spread. So one of the examples is I did a future self visualization, and so I planned out what my ideal day would look like. And I scheduled it out that in the morning I would go to yoga or go running, meditate. I also talked about some passion projects that I really wanted to work on, so creating my own content and whatnot. But I love the space of infinite possibility because I'm a brainstormer. I like to just have random ideas, and so it gives me things to write down on the right side. We have been PashFam members for what, like 3 or 4 years? But the Passion Planner Daily was literally just released, so nobody had ever used it before, including us. So it was kind of like finding a new process again, and where there's planner guilt, there's also planner anxiety. When you first get a planner and you're just like, I do not want to write in this until I know exactly how this is supposed to look, but I was super anxious about that. But now it's kind of just like, oh, whatever, I use it for anything, but I was definitely apprehensive about just using something new for the first time and figuring out what my process was. I'm still figuring it out. Obviously, like it's not as cut and dry as my passion planner, but I think that was the most difficult thing for me, was trying to figure out how am I going to use this in conjunction with my passion planner, because I knew that I definitely wanted to keep the original.
I totally agree with that. That planner anxiety of testing and like using a brand new product, it's definitely overwhelming, but I think with the daily, there's so much room to grow with it. For me, the process was definitely a transition because I borrowed the format that I was traditionally using in the original Passion Planner about reflecting throughout my day, but with all this extra space, what am I gonna do with it? And then what I really love is that page where it has ideas of ways to use your free space to grow, your space of infinite possibility. So it was just very customizable, as you said earlier. And you know, the transition, it's there, it's whatever you want it to be, but you know, I think we're just really finding the way it works for us, just like how we did with our regular passion planners.
For sure. I feel like a passion planner baby again. So.
Me too. It feels really nice. I am a person who plans on the daily. I realized that through the transition of the weekly planner, the regular passion planner, to the passion planner daily, that I can actually only take one day at a time. So the passion planner daily has really relieved a lot of stress for myself, and it prevented me from thinking about so many things ahead of time that I have to plan for, where I can only focus on the day it actually is.
The thing that I noticed the most now that I'm using both the Passion Planner Daily and the regular Passion Planner is that I have a lot of side projects or things that I've been wanting to do, but I didn't really think about unless I was doing the Passion Roadmap, which only happens twice a year in the regular Passion Planner. But since I use the Passion Planner Daily for my side projects, it forces me to bring those projects to the forefront, and so I think about them more often, and I'm actually working on them a lot more actively than I was in the past. If you're anything like me, you love the original Passion Planner. I know I do, and I know that I'm going to continue using that every single year. But if you're still curious about the Passion Planner Daily, I would recommend assigning it its own purpose outside of scheduling. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a schedule. It's not for me. It just collects these ideas that I have. It can be for brainstorming. It can be a daily journal. You know, you can even use it for if you decide to do like a 30-day challenge. It has 93 days worth of pages. So you can journal your 30-day challenge and do 3 different ones throughout the year. But it's really open-ended, and I think that you can use both, but you have to define what the purpose of each will be for you.
So my recommendation for the Passion Planner Daily is, if you are anything like me, that you would love the undated version of this, the undated format that, you know, that allows so much freedom and reduces so much planner guilt. Personally, this has been an amazing transition. Definitely going to take some time to really get used to the format that you want to follow, what you want to use it for, putting your intentions into this planner. The nice thing about it is that it encompasses 3 months, a total of 3 months, 93 days, and it just has so much flexibility with, you know, the way that your week can turn out, your month can turn out, your days can turn out. And because it's not at the original weekly and monthly layouts, it's allowing you to not have so much anxiety on seeing a weekly layout.
The thing that I want to stress is to let your Passion Planner Daily be a work in progress, just like any other planner that you have. I think when you get comfortable with your process as a passion planner, I mean, like BJ and I have with the original, it's easy to get accustomed to your process, but letting yourself investigate and explore new ways of planning through the Passion Planner Daily, I think is the most important advice that I can give, because it's completely different and everybody can still be themselves with it. It's just a matter of figuring out what works best for you.
Thanks y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed our video on the Passion Planner Daily. If you are interested in checking out the Passion Planner Daily, feel free to check out the PDF download on our website. The link will be below.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.